client needs Whoops. Okay. It involves a commitment to clients' needs outside of traditional financial planning boundaries. Gary's career in the insurance and financial services field has spanned nearly 40 years, and he's earned the respect and praise of many clients and peers. He is a recognized expert in issues of retirement planning and has taught continuing education classes and has spoken on the subject many times. Gary is a registered investment advisor and as such is held to a fiduciary standard. He has been actively involved in children's charities for over 20 years and has served as past board president of Child Advocates of Tarrant County, now known as CASA, C-A-S-A. And Gary also served as an officer of the Bridge Emergency Youth Services and past board member of All Church Home for Children Now, which is ACH. He has always had a heart for the most vulnerable children and the elderly. And thank you for that, Gary. So helping seniors in gray divorce is kind of a natural thing of what you do. So why don't you go ahead and, I guess, share your presentation.
And, okay, and really the presentation is just going to be kind of footnotes to guide me through it, really. But we'll go ahead and put it up. I want to say first, I can't wait to meet Nolan. So we'll come out to the gas station and see who you are. And the same thing with, gosh, the other financial advisor. I'm sorry, I can't think of your name.
Jim Morton.
Jim. I heard all about Jim. I'd like to sometime take you and have a cup of coffee for sure. Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. I kind of gravitated to the senior market to a great deal because my entry into financial planning came from long-term care business. And when that just started cratering because companies underpriced it and it just wasn't going to last, then I knew if people didn't have some kind of insurance to pay the catastrophic costs of that kind of care, to have good care, that they need to have money. And that's really what drove me to financial planning, is how to hang on to some money in later years. And then it's just kind of gone from there. It's been a great business for me. And like I say, you've got two good guys on here. I think that may be what Noel does too. The thing at divorce time or prior to is that's going to be a big piece of that divorce process, obviously. It sounds like you have a lot of good counselors on here. If people had a marriage that they thought might be going south, I would say one of the first things I'd do is make sure I had a good financial advisor and somebody that was friends with either both of you, husband and wife, or certainly your friend, and start getting things in order, not hiding things. I'm not saying that at all, but there are certainly insurance products that will work better in division time than say just being in the stock market as an example. So I guess that's where I would try to help anyone that's about to go through a divorce, which is what we're all about. And by the way, what a fantastic idea that this is. Everybody needs that sort of help at a real tough time in your life. I've been through it, Jenny's been through it, so sometimes it comes out just fine, but it's something that the financial part of it's a big deal. If you want to know anything really about me, the website, I think we had it up, will tell you more than you ever wanted to know. But just tell you right now, heads up, that's not a very recent picture. I'll just be honest. That's probably a few years old, maybe 50 years old. I don't know how that is. But eventually I'll change that because I won't have any choice. The reason there's three companies, I thought I might go through that because it's somewhat interesting. There just was a difficult way of explaining to people the different areas that I can help them, because there's so many different types of financial products. As an example, the one that's not listed is Premier Precious Metals. So I don't do anything, and I'm actually forbidden to do anything in Bitcoin or any of that. But we do help people acquire gold. Speaking of divorce, one of my best clients had a lot of gold that he purchased through me. And we don't really, it's not much of a profit place for us, but we help them acquire it, have it shipped to our office. They pick it up there. It's a little safer. But he lost about half of what I say he lost it. He divided fairly a large sum of gold, which we tried to get the attorney to maybe work it a little bit different because that gold is going to be more, which it already is, a lot more than we lost. We just picked up some more the other day. So the idea of having other methodologies of making money besides the stock market and other products, gold and those type of things are good alternatives. And I don't know how that works out in a divorce. I think when you read or look at the website, it'll give you all the information, who we are and what we do. It doesn't say anything about divorcees, but everybody's got kind of the same problems. And the biggest problem is how many people do not have a good financial advisor. I mean, I guarantee you got a good, probably attorney, a good doctor and sort of thing. But if you have somebody who has planning, estate planning, financial planning background, and they've been doing it for at least 20 years or more, you got to have that. And one of the reasons, real quick, was if you're going through a divorce, and this is something I'm stealing from somebody else, but I'll ask you guys, if you were to call up American Airlines to get a reservation someplace, what's the first question that person on the other end of the phone would ask you? You'll all get it wrong, but most likely it's not what it actually is, and that is, where are you now? You know, they have to know where you are before they can send you somewhere else. You have to know where you are financially. You have to take charge of it. And it's just a matter of gathering all your statements, everything together, Social Security statements, if you're old enough to have that, and take that to a good qualified financial advisor. Then he can get you prepared for what's coming ahead. If he's got any background in that, you got some good ones in this group. But did that make any sense to y'all? I heard that on the radio some years back. What's the first question they ask at reservation? And it kind of isn't, but it sort of is. Eventually they have to say, where are you? You know, where are you now? So you need to know where you are financially. I keep looking at my picture, wondering why I'm not smiling back. Oh yeah, it's a picture. Somebody laugh, come on. I can't see anybody. Are we muted or what are we?
No. Okay, you've got 10 minutes.
Okay.
You better hurry up.
Oh, well, there's just not a whole lot of wisdom there, Jenny. About where I'm at. Again, go to the website. That's pretty much everything there, but we're holistic. We actually have 2 money management companies. I split that up a long time ago because I am never going to sit behind a desk and trade stocks. I did that for a short time. I hate it. I don't like it. So I became an RIA, so I'd have the ability to hire firms that do nothing but that. And to give you an idea, they're doing it 24/7, it seems like, because I had a call from a young guy, I'm sure, and I'm in Palm Thumb buying groceries. And he's asking me about a portfolio that I'm wanting him to use for one of the clients. And I asked him, I said, are you at work? He said, no, I'm at home. I said, you're calling me about a client. I'm shopping in Tom Thumb. You know, they do this 24/7 and they love it, know it. So I farm that out to them, get a little bit of an override on that, but they do what I ask them to do. And then I hold them accountable. I'm their client, you're not. So that setup has worked out real well. I can't think of anything else. I would love to help anybody that's needing help on.
Gary, is any of your other slides helpful? How you're
You can go ahead and
help,
click to the next one, Joe.
how you can help divorcees?
Well, because it wasn't really, I was just telling people what my whole setup is about. How I can help you, one, is the software we use. This is called Retirement Analyzer. So within 15, 20 minutes, if people bring me everything they have and we enter it in our software, we can tell you, pretty much at what point in time you're gonna run out of money and what you need to do to correct that. This was a person that is actually in the real estate business and came to us and we put all her information in there. She wanted to retire. And we had to tell her while she was still sitting there within a half hour that based on her lifestyle and what she wants to maintain, she wasn't going to be able to do that right now. But she had just purchased another real estate part, just purchased a home that she shouldn't have bought to start with. She had never run a lawnmower in her life. She was having to mow her own grass. She was in an area that was brand new. There were no street lights. It wasn't very safe. So when we realized she wasn't going to be able to retire, and we told her that, and we told her we'd work on this and get back with her. And I was thrilled when we did all the numbers and realized she got to sell that house. And she hadn't been there that long, maybe 6, 7 months. She made money on the house, sold the house, moved into a, not a retirement, but a younger age apartment. Has all the security, has, a gym, has everything she wanted. She's thrilled and she had money left and she can retire in 6 months. We could not have done that without the knowledge and putting it into software that would tell us. Math doesn't lie. So when you put it all in and it kicks it out, it is what it is. And I would say that most of the people don't really know where they are. If you look at those circles, go back to that just real quick, Bill. This is actually the person I was just talking about. The money she had, 33% of, I can't really read that, Jill.
76.
Yeah, 76% of her money was in the stock market and at risk. Her risk tolerance lined up with what's on the right-hand side. So we made those changes and lowered her risk to about 59%, or lowered it by 59. I can't really see it.
259.
Okay, so we take a lot of risk off the table. We solve the big problem. Her money's going to last her into perpetuity because we use some guaranteed annuities that we're going to pay her like a pension. I highly recommend that to people that they're getting closer to retirement, is to focus on not how much you accumulate, but where do you put it? It needs to be put in a place where you can draw on the income, a paycheck at some point. And too many people take too much risk, and I'm not averse to markets at all. But one of the next slides, I think it is the next one, I want y'all to see.
This is just choice.
Well, okay, quickly, this is where can you put the money if you pulled it out of the market? Well, go in, I'm sorry. In the stock market, there's a potential for big gains, also potential for big losses. Then you got real estate. Let's go past that to the next one. I'm gonna run out of time. So we use annuities to guarantee income, but we do not, I don't want to offend anybody, but we don't use variable annuities. And we don't, because if I'm taking them out of the market to reduce or eliminate risk, you're going back into the market with variable annuities because they use stock portfolios. We used to do them a long time ago. We don't now, just because we're trying to stay with guarantees. So the next thing would be fixed indexed annuities, and they actually saved our bacon in 2008 when we're going through what may be coming up now. I mean, the world's on fire. We need to pay attention to risk as much as anything. If you go to the next one, it talks about which is better if you lose. Actually, it does. I'm trying to fly through this too quick. Fixed annuities just can't go backwards. If you're in a variable annuity, you're still in the market. So in 2008, when so many companies went down, there wasn't a single insurance company that did, so you don't have to worry about loss of principal. Go to the next one. What happened? Not moving? Okay, yeah, I like this. Did we skip one? Can you go back one? Okay. So this is in a slide from a class I teach, but this is showing you how much you have to gain based on what you lost. So if you lost 11% on that first one, it takes, I'm sorry, 10, if you lost 10%, it takes 11% just get back to even. If you go to the next one, if you lost 20, it takes 25%. You go all the way over to, let's say, 40% of your money. You have to gain 67% on that same money to get back to even. And then the last one, obviously, is the most gross. But the point is, it's harder to get back what you had than it is to just protect where you are now. Go to the next. This one is a great graph as well. So many people think, well, you know, if I get out of the market, I might miss the rallies. And then, you know, if you stay in the market, you're not going to miss the rallies. Well, that's true, but this is an exact example of what happened 2000 in, in 1980 to 2018. The S&P went down 8.74%. I can't see it. So if you miss the best returns in that same period of time, you would have lost 4.10 that you could have made. But if you miss the worst, you would have gained 14.74. If you miss them both, your average return to be 9.84. Missing the rallies is not necessarily the problem. It is taking the big losses and trying to get that back. So I try to get people to focus on watching, look at the risk. You got to be getting close to me.
Yeah.
So what I think every financial advisor, I think Jim and those guys all would agree, you want to aim for consistency on the money that you have after you finish a divorce. Is try not to put money at risk. And if you can just average, this is just showing averaging 8%. Would make you more money than if you, well, I can't. So it shows both the red and the gray, and the red is the amount of,
Steady.
you got to talk loud, I can't.
Red is steady, gray is high vol.
I got you. So you see the difference between taking a lot of risk and high volatility versus just take a 8%, and everybody would do that. And you can do that without taking a lot of risk. Steady's better than the high volatility. I had a whole bunch of others, but really I wanted to focus more on something I think might help retiring. Because sooner or later you're going to be in charge of your money if your husband was before. This is, I think all women here almost. So have a good financial advisor. Focus on a steady return. Don't try to hit a home run. And use products that will guarantee you a paycheck. That'll guarantee you money back. Anybody on this call that would like it, we have a video about how to use annuities. It was professionally done. Cost me a lot of money. I'd like to send it to everybody that gives us their email. It's not for me. It's not a promotion to me. It's actually a one done just about annuities. And it's people that actually have them. There's 3 or 4 government speakers in there because there's been so much bad press or people talking about annuities, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing it. There are good ones and there are bad ones, but believe me, that's one way. It got me through 2008 for sure. And there's good products out there. I think everybody would agree that those.
Okay, Gary, I think Noel had a question or two.
Don't make it hard.